Um, okay, so we are looking. What I wanted to look at today was the videos actually, and I wanted to dig a bit into this topic because I was doing some research through. I'll just show that in a second. I was digging down. I was digging. Scrolling through the posts of the Wandering app. The Wandering app is this app that is made by one of, or like sort of an ex NotebookLM person. Um, and it's interesting to see because I think they did get a grant from the Cosmos Institute, and then they talk about like um, Wandering Draws on Thought Refractor, and I just wanted to explore that as well with you guys today. See what we learn from these. Sorry for the picture of a mummy bread. But first we'll actually look at so the way that I was thinking to use this tool is basically you have the chat, right? So you make the chat make a plan. I mean, there probably could be like a study plan app in Studio or something like this. And then what I did here is I asked it to generate remember videos and prep material for the first 2 days session, right? So what it did is it generated these flashcards, 14-day roadmap. Okay, so actually it did. Oh yeah, that's something that I saved as a card. That's good. And then it actually did it generated 2 videos, which we can take a look at right now. Nation theory, unlocking group theory, group actions, and simplicity. So we can let me just turn on the speaker because I'm using that at the workstation. So what I want to do is I want to actually is it connected? Yes, it's connected. Let's look at the video.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving straight into something absolutely foundational, the abstract, honestly beautiful world of group theory. This explainer is all about decoding the math of symmetry, the hidden structural rules that govern the universe around us. If you've ever wondered how mathematicians actually understand shape, structure, and transformations on a fundamental level, you are definitely in the right place. Okay, let's dive right into this. Think about the rotations of a physical cube, the millions of ways you can shuffle a deck of cards, and, well, the ticking of your standard 12-hour clock. What do these have in common? On the surface, literally nothing, right? But underneath, it's wild. They're all governed by the exact same mathematical architecture. They're all expressions of this thing we call groups. Section 1. The rules of the game, group axioms. You can kind of think of group theory like a mathematical board game. The best part? You don't actually need to memorize sprawling, terrifying formulas to play. You really just need to understand 4 fundamental rules. At its core, a group is incredibly simple. It's just a collection of items, a non-empty set we'll call G, and a rule for combining any 2 of those items to get a third. We call that the binary operation. But for this collection to officially be a group, it absolutely has to pass a strict 4-step checklist. So let's walk through this non-negotiable checklist. Step 1 is closure. Basically, if you combine any 2 elements in your group, the result has to also be in the group. You can't break out of the set.
Okay, not bad. I'm gonna stop here for now. Maybe it's a little too fast-paced, but it's not good. I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna criticize the quality of the results because that's something that obviously they'll get right eventually. In terms of they'll get the right approach. I think the most important thing is, and we can go through this thought refractor here. Let me just play this for you guys so I don't have to read it out loud myself.
Thought Refractor engaged. I'm running in full Thought Refractor mode, inspired by Cheng Wei Hu's Cosmos Institute grant project that turns linear text arguments into multiple visual plus structural representations instead of flat prose. Ready to bend, split...
Stop. What is thought? So that's not what I meant. I mean, it is, but it's like, what is thought refractor? that is a concept, right? In learning, at least it seems like. So we're learning something new. A tool which developed with the support of Cosmos. Yeah, it lets you turn text into multiple visual representations. Did he refactor it or did NotebookLM? Yeah, okay. Anything else interesting here? No, then they go into like other grantees from the Cosmos Institute.
Thought Refractor is an AI tool project developed by Cheng-Wei Hu, ex-NotebookLM engineer at Google, now focused on learning tools, X at HCWXD. It refracts text or arguments into multiple interactive visual representations, such as breakdowns, flowcharts, maps, timelines, diagrams, and simulations, rather than delivering a single linear text response. The goal is to act as a tool for thought, helping users better analyze, understand, reason through, and learn from complex ideas by seeing them from different visual perspectives, e.g. turning...
These, I mean, there's an important aspect to this, which is that that's actually one of the best ways to learn. And again, I'll bring up this video again from Veritasium, called "You Are Not a Visual Learner." And I really, really highly recommend again to watch this video. There is a moment.
Styles. What kind of learner are you?
Oh yeah, I'm a visual person. So like I
There's a moment where
visual
learning versus recall, review. Google search.
Topics out there that are controversial, like learning styles, for example.
Yeah, no.
Most people believe learning styles are a thing, whereas educational researchers find no robust evidence for them. And if you search for
The VARC model.
the visual, auditory, reading, writing, kinesthetic, or VARC model came about from Neil Fleming, a school inspector in New Zealand. Describing the origins of VARC, he says, "I was puzzled when I observed excellent teachers who did not reach some learners and poor teachers who did. I decided to try to solve this puzzle. There are, of course, many reasons for what I observed, but one topic that seemed to hold some magic, some explanatory power, was preferred modes of learning, modal preferences. And thus, VARC was born. There was no study that revealed students naturally cluster into 4 distinct groups, just some magic that might explain why some teachers can reach students while others can't. But how can this be? If we accept that some people are more skilled at interpreting and remembering certain kinds of stimuli than others, like visual or auditory, then why don't we see differences in learning or recall with different presentations? Well, it's because what we actually want people to recall is not the precise nature of the images or the pitch or quality of the sound, it's the meaning behind the presentations.
Yeah, he makes a point at some point here. I just didn't know what it is. You probably can just look for the transcript. Is there a transcript of this? Show transcript. I think there's somewhere. Can I search? Yeah, I think there's somewhere something around 360. No. Multiple angles. Yes, exactly. The best learning experiences are those that involve multiple learning ways of understanding the same thing. And best of all, the strategy works not just for one subset of people, but for everyone. Radio, yeah, this part of the video was, that's the very end, okay.
The best learning experiences are those that involve nor an auditory learner nor a kinesthetic learning. You are not a visual learner, nor an auditory learner nor a kinesthetic learner. Or more accurately, you are all these kinds of learner in one. The best learning experiences are those that involve multiple different ways of understanding the same thing.
Yeah.
And best of all, this strategy works not just for one subset of people, but for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the point. So the point that I wanted to make is that this is, yeah, I mean, that actually makes sense. is aligned with this.
An argument into an interactive simulation or flowchart for clearer insight. It was funded as part of the Cosmos Institute's AI X Truth-Seeking Grant, second cohort, announced December 2025, in partnership with the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE. These grants support AI projects that advance open inquiry, critical reasoning, evidence-based thinking, and reduced ideological bias. It is or was developed as a core component that Wandering.app, whose current main project draws upon. Wandering is an AI-powered learning platform described as Duolingo.
That's what I don't. That's what I don't kind of like. You know, guys, I hate that Duolingo shit, man. That is definitely not the right. Like, I don't know. I just don't like that. That is very. But okay, I mean, fine. I just don't know to what extent. To what extent is that different? To what extent is that novel if NotebookLM already is built upon this principle? I know I'm probably sort of like mixing up the two things here instead of making like a separate review of one tool or the other. So take text, sources, nodes, and automatically generate multiple structured visuals from it instead of a plain linear output. Mind maps, timelines, so the fundamental reframe text, diverse outputs, pattern is well established in NotebookLM, similar tools, Cloud artifacts, GPT canvas. Yeah. Okay, so what's the differentiation here? So it isn't just about with more diagrams. The grant descriptions and news highlights these targeted advancements. Argument-centric focus, so optimized for arguments. Interactive simulations. Okay, that's not in there. Beyond static mind maps. Multiple simultaneous refractions. That doesn't really matter. I mean, you can just, that doesn't really matter. It's all at once or whatever. Deeper integration into learning truth-seeking tools. It powers heavily influences Wandering Up. Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, a tool for thought. I mean, it's again, the only thing that I don't like about these is the Duolingo vibe, man. Just because the Duolingo vibe has that, to me, that just smells like edutainment a little bit. That is, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying that it smells a bit like edutainment. This means do something that is just like pleasing to the eye and do something that just makes you feel like you're playing a game and call that learning, or expect that turns into learning, when in reality it's, I don't know how to explain this. There's a difference between learning the thing behind the material and the concepts, and then learning the actual material, right? And I think that this Duolingo style kind of lies somewhere in between. That is like a bit of a dangerous spot, right? Because you get used to a certain thing. It has a lot of guardrails, and you can't make mistakes. So I know this might sound like I'm being picky, but I'm being honest here. Let's go back to Brilliant. I still should have access to that. Because I want to explain what I mean. When we did the what was this course that we did? The first one was what? Arithmetic thinking? No. Are they marked as done, the ones that we did already? Come on. The first one we did was, I think, advanced. Not these. No. It was... I'll find it. I don't know if it was not this one. Yeah, it was the period thing, period phenomena. Exactly. let me explain you one thing, okay? So, like, notice that there are constraints to what you can do here, right? Which there's no reason for that to exist, but there are constraints. Even just the fact that they constrain the line in which I can just put these, right? It's like, I know that that's what it says here. I know that it tells you here when f of x next equals 6. And so it might seem like, but you're learning one thing. So instead of just focusing on like learning the theory behind that, you tend to then resort to tricks, which is like, oh cool, I'm just gonna look at the distance between these 2 points because I know what's happening, right? I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's the guardrails don't help. I think a very important piece of any learning methodology or tool is to recreate that sense of, is that everything, or do I know? Like, you remember that we talked about, let's open this CaliDraw again. We talked about these here, right? No, these here. You don't know something, you search for this something, you practice. You don't know something, you search for something, you practice, right? So this part here, right, is crucial. This is it's a very important part, because as you practice, you discover that you don't know some things, right? So if you put too many guardrails in the thing you're using to practice, you are limiting the experience that allows you as a learner to find other things, right? And it's like you're, because there are things in here that kind of block and restrict the possible set of answers. And in my opinion, that's what happens when you also do multi option answers, right? And I know the multi-option answers are just like there to basically, like, I mean, it's twofold. One way is a bit of a fooling mechanism to kind of, yeah, I just, it's the multi-option answers are like that's for another video. But you know, the point is, and this is, I know I'm being very picky, okay? I'm being very picky, but that's the problem with interactive simulations like these, that they kind of have a natural native constraint, that something like this is like, boom, you feel you're on your own. Even though you have a video, even though you have something, you feel you're on your own. And I really like the fact that this feels like a workspace, and that you could generate as many videos as you wanted to, right? Whereas something like, and I bet that what Wondering is doing, and I lost Wondering now, I bet that one of the things that Wondering is doing is, maybe they do this right, but one of the things that Wondering is doing is probably also just shoving a video in your face for something, right? And the problem is that this also gives you the false sense of wholeness. I don't know if that's right. Like of not, like, what I'm trying to say is it gives you the feeling that there's nothing else to explore, right? Because it's presented to you as that's the material. Whereas here it's a material. There's a very big difference between the material and a material, right? So I think when we design tools for learning, and when you're picking a tool for learning like this, you should look for those tools that almost feel like you're still on your own. Because these are the tools that will actually reinforce that part of the loop that is so important, right? Duolingo, Brilliant.com, Wondering, they draw this path in here, and it kind of almost like, you know, that's yet another aspect of it, right? Like it just, you, I do believe that they do let you modify these, which is good. I think I saw that at least, maybe it's a paid feature, but like at least they let you actually modify these, which is good, which is the approach that we follow in OpenLesson. If you go to openlesson.academy and you select any of the plans that you've created, or you're working on a specific plan, you can always adapt it, right? You can always, there's a plan builder, and you can always like add sessions, remove sessions, reorder, modify, like do other things, make this more complicated, make this simpler. Those are just, again, sessions that we're creating for you to have at least some sense of spacing, right? Of sort of like where I am in the map. But it's important that we look that this is something that I think from a NotebookLM perspective I really appreciate, because it still gives you that feeling of you're on your own kind of thing. And like they'll improve, I'm sure they'll improve that. It's the infographic. Oh, sorry, it didn't get generated. I thought it was already generated. There's audio. There is no, those slides are like quite funky, but yeah, there is basically these. Whoa, this is actually really crazy. 48-hour roadmap, day 1, day 2 definitions, normal subgroups, isomorphisms, the architecture of symmetry, axioms, permutations, and structural relationships, the 4 pillars of a group, boom, 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 inverse identity, closure, associativity, and the symmetric group Sn, the proof of all projections on a set X. Yeah, okay, so whatever. I mean, they explain, yeah. That's interesting, right? And it ensures perfect alignment. Normal subgroups and quotients. I mean, these visuals are actually interesting. Mechanics and atoms. Atoms? The prime skeleton, interesting. The alternating group AN. Okay, we can dive into this maybe, but start slideshow, share. Okay, interesting. But you see, it kind of like, it at least feels like then you can have a quiz and you can learn and stuff. I think that's, I really think that is probably going to be the end of my NotebookLM review. I think without me wanting to use a tool more extensively in a few streams maybe down the road, I'm not a fan of the current quality of the studio outputs, but it's okay. It's going to get better for sure. It's going to get better. 100% it's going to get better. And I'll repeat, it at least kind of has that feeling of that you're more on your own, which is good. It's good for this same reason here, that as you practice, you notice that you don't know something, and you do this by feeling. And you need to work on in an environment where you facilitate that transition. That's all what I want to say about this stuff. Are we missing any features? Settings. Apple language license device, no. You have also a few things like the world ahead. Okay, so here there's basically just some sources, then you have a chat, and you have a few things. How to use this notebook, the world ahead, geopolitics and economy. So you have like okay. Boom, boom, boom. Interesting. Yeah. But that's pretty much it, kind of like it's the way that NotebookLM approaches the usage of AI for learning is basically in helping you transform content, a wide range and more like an open set of content, into a set of like assets that you can just use to then learn. But you like, yeah, that's the whole point. No, that makes sense. That kind of makes sense. I was wondering, maybe we could take a look at the Wondering app. What's the pricing on that? Pro unlimited lessons. Okay, we can try. It's the same thing. So essentially, the only thing that Pro gives you is basically more access to stuff. Early access to memory, jump ahead in course. Okay. We can continue. Okay, so it's basically $8.33 a month. If you do annual, it's 15. Okay, no, that's fine. Let's try the free version first, and then we'll probably upgrade. Let's see. Let's do the same. Let's. I want to learn. Let's say I want to learn about probabilistic computing. Again, I won't dedicate. I will just. I'm doing a first look. I'm taking just a first look at it, okay? Because I was planning to do more NotebookLM, but I think I'm more or less done with it. And they're somehow related. I mean, it's the same. Okay, so sorry. I was create course discretely. What does it mean? Directly. Oh, I'm such a. Okay, so there's a tailoring stage, right? It's like, could you tell me more about your experience? Strong math background, beginner in both math and coding, familiar with machine learning basics. Can I mark? Can I say these and these? No, only one. No, both. I think I was not meant to click both, but I was fast enough. Okay, so they are trying to understand how you're wanting to apply these, building, uncertain data systems, developing probabilistic algorithms. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. And we'll wrap it up in the next 2 to 3 minutes. I just want to get the course started and see. Okay, yeah, looks good. Looks good. Okay, so it actually you have here a few things you can change. Request changes, 3 sections, 30 minutes, 2 days. Okay, so it kind of calculates more or less. Create course. Let's go ahead with this. So now it's generating probably all these. What you will achieve, scale randomized data structures, reduce performance analysis, go to the course. Okay, so now you are in the course here. Foundations, session to review. So you have multiple things in here. What are these little notebooks here for? Foundations, no items saved. Okay, so you can save items. Let's start here. What if your code could reason about what it doesn't know? Okay. I mean, the animations are cute. Let's see. Let's see what it does, but it's hopefully it's not too much Duolingo. Hopefully it's not too much this. Okay. 2 minutes. Yes. That's problematic, guys. This is shit. And yeah, still generating. Okay. Just 3. So explore interactive argument simulations, investigate cognitive load theory. There's quite some cool stuff to explore, to be honest. Still generating. Bro. I hope I didn't fail anything. Oops. Sorry, guys. That's not what I meant. I'll have to wrap it up before starting the lesson. Nah. Come on, guys. Make the magic happen. make the magic happen. Maybe just got stuck. Oh, start. I think there must have been some hiccup. Okay. What if your code could reason about probabilistic logic next? What will you learn? Probabilistic logic, uncertainty reasoning, robust AI systems. Okay, so there is a visual here. Logic. Okay, feature lock. Complete the first lesson to unlock this feature. Okay, and what is this guy here doing? How can I help you today? Ask questions. Okay, share feedback, continue past conversation. That's okay. So that's the chat. Beyond deterministic logic. Okay, so there is actually, okay, here there's more text. So there's logic and more. Probabilistic, yeah, okay, cool. Binary true or false. All right. Uncertainty is a first-class citizen. Probabilistic algorithms engineering. You treat uncertainty as a core component. You represent data through random variables and probability distributions. And then you basically do these where instead of a single result, your algorithm makes. Okay. And then I guess you can just ask questions like these. And yeah, I think I'm going to actually wrap it up. We'll continue in the next session. I just didn't want to go too deep into these now, but it's actually a little better than Brilliant.org because it actually has some of the explanations and then the visuals as well. So that looks actually definitely more promising. That looks definitely more promising. Applications. How to apply in real life. Although these widgets are a little, I would say like, I don't know, maybe a little underwhelming. Like, it's kind of, yeah, interactive stuff, but it's a little, this is a little underwhelming, in my opinion. This one, for example. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that you're like, oh yeah, that's, it doesn't give me, so far it doesn't give me that vibe of like the 360 thing that we discussed. I thought that was the idea, right? But it doesn't really look like this. Magic insights. Knowledge cards. I don't know. Start practice. Okay, I don't know. I'm not so far. I'm not too sold in it. It does not seem to, at least in that first version or session, deliver what I expected in terms of like. I thought it would be. I thought the visuals and the 360 concept would be a bit more. I haven't seen audio or a video, right? Which I assume I would see. For some reason, I assumed I would be there. Anyway, wrapping it up. See you tomorrow.